We're on and rolling.
Great. Thanks, Dave. All right, so it's nice to see everybody this morning. Good to talk about spring type things. Feels like they're just around the corner. And so that's really inspiring and kind of makes us feel like we want to get moving about again and get outside and feel the sunshine. So let's make this morning's class sort of a focus on spring, the organs for springtime and the meridians that are connected with springtime. And we'll work on some balance today, and yeah, just kind of have fun with it, but keeping in mind kind of that rejuvenating, regrowth type of energy. We've been dormant for longer than we probably care for, and so kind of just thinking of a spring type energy, seeing buds on the trees and sprouts in the ground and harvesting and capturing that new vital energy. So we'll throw in a couple fun exercises and just keep that spirit in mind. And here we go. Okay, so let's begin. Hip width stance. Just establish a good posture here and a good stance. Ground the feet and really take a moment to think about and feel the bottoms of the feet, where they're connected to your particular part of the earth or your floor. And just imagine like a solid, rooted, deep connection to the floor. And then what that means as you think about the roots growing down deep into the earth and receiving that nourishing energy sort of steadily flowing upwards into the body, right? So establishing, that connection, and then letting that energy move up as we check the posture, right? So up into the lower legs, the knees, softly bent, the hips oriented in a way that brings the tailbone down, and then continuing up the spine, nice and long, and then finally through the top of the head. So it's important to take the time to really focus on a good foundation in the stance, rather than just kind of stepping into it and, all right, let's go. Really establishing a good foundation for that energy to flow and nourish the body. And then once we're here, just relax the arms and shoulders, hands open, and begin breathing through the nose. Imagine that breath coming in and expanding down into the lower abdomen. And then as we exhale, the lower abdomen sort of contracts, and we release with the breath any negative stuck energy. And then again, inhale down into the lower abdomen, and then out. So settling into a good rhythm of breathing. And it was brought to my attention last week, just sort of a question about how does that all work? The dynamic of being engaged with the abdomen, the lower abdomen, the dantian, the core, and finding that balance between engagement but also relaxation. And that's really the essence of what Qigong is all about, is being able to engage and feel like this furnace with a fire in the core, but also allowing the body to relax as much as possible, so that we're being open to that flow of energy. And it's very nuanced, and it's often hard to explain until you actually feel it, and then you're like, oh yeah, right. But my job is to continue to try to explain it in different ways that people understand it, and hopefully doing it enough to where everyone has that moment of realization. But there's always going to be a feeling of engagement here, as if just imagine standing, let's say in a subway car or on a boat. You want to be relaxed. You don't want your whole body to be tense, but you have to have that abdominal engagement to be able to stabilize yourself back and forth and front to back as you're going over waves or as the subway's coming to a stop. If you didn't have this abdominal engagement, you would just kind of flop all over the place. So that engagement helps you hold a strong and disciplined posture. It also helps you to react to external forces. So in other words, if I need to suddenly strengthen this left side because the boat just listed, abdominal engagement's already helping us do that. If we're completely relaxed, then you have to engage here and then here, and it just doesn't feel good. So it's just this constant awareness, and engagement is the best I can come up with. Anyway, without further ado, just shake the arms. Swing from the shoulders. Breathe. Keep that nice, tall posture. And always trying to recognize any areas in the body that are holding tension, tightness, stagnation, soreness, and just let that go. Let it flow out of the body. And then the next breath you take, drawing in good, positive, fresh energy. Every time the arms swing down, it's a good cleansing movement, allowing that stuck energy to flow out. And then matching the movement with the breath. So as we inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, throwing the arms down, as if trying to shake off mittens. Now lift the heels up. Back to center. And again, bring the hands up. Check your posture. Again, feeling rooted and planted in the feet. Recover the breath. Focus on drawing the breath and awareness, engagement down into that lower abdomen, below the belly button. Bring the hands up. Relax the shoulders and just turn side to side, lifting the back heel. And beginning to create some nice space throughout the shoulders, the middle back, lower back, hips. And again, as we're turning and twisting here, feel like we're being led or driven by this lower abdomen, right? So as I turn, I feel like this is powering me in every direction. It's not an intense, squeezing those muscles. It's just a firm engagement. In order to drive off this back leg, you have to have that athletic sort of feel in your core. It also helps protect a lot of those areas around, like the hips and lower back. And as we've talked about a lot before in the past, excuse me, about how Qigong was originated. A lot of it was based on observation of natural occurrences, mostly being that of watching life of plant and animal. And so you can see that people were starting to put together realizations of what sort of movements help keep these other life forms healthy and vibrant. So for example, the tiger, very languid and agile and flexible and limber, and doing lots of stretching out, and opening up their pathways, stretching their muscles, and noticing the balance between all the power that they had with grace of movement and efficiency. And like the bear movements that Dave's been leading us through, ones of great power, but moving in a way that is helpful and healthful for the internal organs, and for strengthening the spine and the legs. So it's basically just thousands of years of human observation of nature and what keeps us healthy and vibrant. And we get to benefit from a whole lot of notes on those things. Plant the feet here, let the arms swing. Even in this movement, where the arms are moving freely, I still feel a good engagement in the lower core, the lower abdomen, making that just small twist happen in the hips. And let the arm, the forearm, bend up to the chest. Visualize the energy of the heart and the lungs, waking up and filling up with a flow of good, positive, and healing energy, vibrant, bright light energy. With an open hand, start to stimulate the area around the neck and shoulder. And then back to center. Starting with the Dantian. Door plank. Relax the legs behind you. Three-mile point. And we're bringing in endurance. Energy for longevity. Helps the outside of the hips. Front of the hips. I like to imagine and even feel the vibration and the deep sort of massaging sort of stimulation of that pounding, reaching deep into the joints, releasing any of that stuck, tight energy, and allowing for us to bring in new, fresh energy. On the inside, up the outside. And fingers to the back of the neck. Standing up nice and tall, opening the heart. Checking that the tailbone is in the right position, pulling down toward the heels. Breathing. And around to the front, temples, corners of the eyes. It's basically wherever we're stimulating, visualize good energy penetrating into those areas. So into the brain, into the function of the eyes. Over the third eye. Top of the head, again down into the brain, and stimulating all the little capillaries around the skull, looking for good energy. And then just massaging down and around the ears, pulling down on the lobes and stimulating all those pressure points. Massaging the back of the neck. In the front, down the throat. And then tapping the chest. Same thing, visualizing that stimulating energy into the heart and lungs. Moving over to the front of the shoulder, into the armpit and down the rib cage to stimulate the lymphatic system. Breathe. And then over to the other side. Anywhere that feels good. I mean, this is the general trajectory of movement, but if you find that you've crept up a little higher on the neck, and that feels really good, focus on that area. Now to the outside of the elbow. And I'm not suggesting that you beat yourself up, but don't be afraid to go pretty vigorously here so that that energy reaches deep into the joints. Front of the elbow, or inside of the elbow. Other side. Other side. And then palms the hands cross the wrists. Just let the wrists come together as you breathe and visualize the immune system filling up with good, fresh, positive, healing energy. It's like an aura of energy around the body that is a defense mechanism or gate. So we switch, keeping the good energy in, and the bad energy from coming in. it out. Just stand, breathe, and notice. Next into horse stance. If you remember, last week we did bubbling springs, which is a hip width stance with the same sort of energy dynamic in the legs. So pulling in with the thighs, but at the same time pushing out with the knees. So the legs aren't going anywhere, but the dynamic is that it's creating a spiraling energy dynamic from the earth up. So you can do that in the place of this wide horse stance if that is more suitable for you. Otherwise, it's a nice, wide, deep stance. Plant the feet, let the toes flare out a little bit if that's more comfortable for your knees. Same thing with the spine. Tailbone pulling down and sink down pretty deeply. Begin with the hands just resting in front of the dantian. Relax everywhere you can. Engaged in the abdomen as we breathe. And embrace that chi in the legs. Feel it warming, surging. Begin with the hands, palms down. See if you can feel a warm, sort of persistent pressure coming upward from the earth into the palms. Just gently press against that. Relax the face. Keep breathing into the abdomen. This is where we challenge ourselves a little bit, but also really get the chi flowing quickly. Palms up. Adjust your spine and shoulders a little bit here. Feel nice and balanced and stacked. Feeling the pressure coming down into the palms now. Keep your mind calm in spite of the intensity of the posture. Palms out. Palms up. Again, making adjustments here. Standing nice and tall. Breathe. Palms down, raining chi over the body, over the top of the head like a shower. Take a deep breath in. Stand up and walk the feet in. And exhale, the hands down. Feel that wave of relief and also feel warm chi in the legs. And allow that warmth and vigorous energy to make its way up. Good. And again, just stand, breathe, and notice. Face is relaxed. Jaw softly closed. Tongue resting behind the top teeth. Drawing the breath down into the dantian. So let's begin waking up the spine a little bit. So bring the hands onto the front of the hips, leading with the chin as we exhale. Just a nice gentle forward bend. Tuck the chin, inhale and roll up. Again, exhale. Inhale, head coming up last. Allow the weight of the head to gently help stretch the neck and upper back. A few more. Last one. Exhaling as we bend gently forward. Inhaling as we roll slowly up. Good, perfect. Now into moving the body like a river. Bring the hands up. And just slide that imaginary door over to the left. Turn the hands and slide to the right. Elbows are heavy here. And we're just starting to open up the spine in a lateral way. As you settle into a movement or motion or rhythm, begin to lead with the hips. As the hips go, everything else sort of trails, which then creates kind of a C in the spine. Now, as I'm turning the hands, the hips are the first to move back to the right. So we get a nice stretching open through the rib cage and hips here. But just come to it naturally. Flow, breathe. Settle into a good weight transfer. Visualize the spine, the rib cage and hips, the shoulders, gently opening up. And again, coming back to what we were talking about earlier with the engagement of the core. If we weren't engaging the core here, this could feel uncomfortable. It could be lots of little sticky points that would feel unprotected. So always maintaining a dynamic presence in the dantian. And just think about the name of the movement, moving the body like a river, very fluid, full of power and grace, persistence, patience. Back to center. Now bring the hands together in front of the heart. Going into blossoming breath. So take a deep breath in here. Exhale. Completely emptying the lungs. Sort of hunching over, squeezing the hands together and squeezing the deepest parts of the lungs out. And then as we inhale, it's kind of blossoming open, blossoming the arms, and filling up with fresh, positive energy here. As we expand and then exhale, bring the hands back into center. Inhale, expand. Exhale, drawing in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I'd like to visualize a bud, a flower bud, blossoming open, filling up with sunlight, being nourished from the ground up and from above, from the sun. And then going back into a closed, budded position. Inhale. Expand and fill up with sunlight. Exhale. Back into a closed bud as the sun goes down. One more time. And into swimming dragon from here. Moving the hands very gently back and forth, letting the head and spine follow. Explore the range of movement with the hands. Go lower. Feel the opening in the hips and lower back. And then move the exploration up. So as the hands move up, we feel the opening through the shoulders and the cage. Just have fun with it. Back to center. Then into powerful dragon. This is where we staff or pivot side to side, right? And pushing the hands. So as we staff or pivot to the left, returning the shoulders and hips 90 degrees to the left. At the same time, we're pushing the right hand across the body. And we're pulling the left hand in toward the midline here, palm facing up. So the whole movement, push as we turn, keeping the spine nice and tall, and we just sink into that stance and exhale, powerful breath. This is our finishing position. And then inhale, relax, step or pivot, exhale, other side. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And this is good as we sink into the legs, push and pull. Really feel a strong, solid foundation in the legs. Letting that energy rise up. One more on each side. And back to center. Inhale, gather. Exhale, gently push down and settle that chi. Good. Next, standing in the barrel, hands on the hips. Just kind of moving the hips, scraping the inside of the barrel. Breathe. reversing directions. This should be a pretty good feeling through the hips, lower back, the sides of the legs a little bit. Good for the internal organs. But if you notice that you're encountering some spots that are really tight to the point of pain, just don't push through it. But try to notice them and see if you can't gently help them open and release. Again, about finding balance, not trying to push through pain, but to recognize where the body needs some opening or releasing. Maybe coming back to that later. Or just being mindful of those areas for the future. Good, and back to center. Continuing with that same movement as we bring the right hand onto the dantian, left hand palm facing up, and going into teacups, moving the hips to the right, spiraling that left hand down and around, move the hips to the left as the arm comes out and around and down. Breathe and flow. Trying to keep the palm up the whole way. And bringing the left hand onto the dantian, right hand, palm facing up, as if holding a teacup and saucer. Move the hips to the left, spiral down, out, around and down. Breathe and flow. Keeping the palm oriented up, if you can, the whole way through. A nice stimulation and massaging of the internal organs here as we twist and flow and breathe. One more time. Good. Now, double teacups. And doing the same thing with both hands at the same time. We want to feel like we're inhaling, drawing both hands and fingers inward, spiraling, waving past the abdomen as we sink down into the legs. So they're spiraling past and around. And at this point, we begin to breathe in and squeeze the butt, squeeze the perineum, and bring the hands up, drawing that energy up the spine through the top of the head. And then exhale, relax, flow, spiral inward, gather, inhale, squeeze. Exhale, relax. Inhale. Drawing that energy up through the top of the head. Really dynamic movement, powerful. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Gather, squeeze. Exhale, flow. Back to center, relax. Good. All right, so it's just a couple minutes too. That went really quickly. I'd like to finish, if we can, just so everyone knows, it's 2 minutes till. So we're going to go a little bit over. If you have anywhere to be, just be mindful of that. I'm going to finish with sipping breath, and then we'll get into bamboo in the wind. Taking one full deep breath in 3 stages, sipping in, and again, in all the way up and hold. Let the breath sink into every cell, hold it. And then as we exhale, sort of flowing the arms down. Inhale. Exhale. Relaxing breath in. Exhale all the way out. And sip in. Sip in again. Sip in all the way up. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Relaxing breath in. This time, the next 2, we do the same thing, but at the top we hold and squeeze everything as tightly as we can. And then we throw it down, dropping the heels. So relaxing breath in. Exhale all the way out. Sip in. Sip in again. Sip in all the way up, hold and squeeze. Knees clench tightly. Hold it. Hold it. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Relaxing breath in. Exhale all the way up. And sip in. Sip in again. Sip in all the way up, hold. Clench everything tight. Exhale. Exhale. Okay. Feet together. Bamboo in the wind. Let go of any tension. Feel deeply connected to the earth. Strong and flexible and resilient. Each breath in is full of gratitude, kindness, generosity of spirit, openness, patience, and finally health and vitality every breath. Let's take this feeling with us into the day. Thanks everybody for coming. Hope you have a great week.